Hello, this is module 402, and I would like to discuss two topics for cybersecurity, which I identified while working as desktop support and network associate, working for multiple companies across Sydney. And the first issue is password strength. Because given the character remains for passwords, the modern passwords prove tricky to remember. And some people reuse passwords or write them down and keep the paper next to the devices. And for the sake of convenience, some staff may set really straightforward passwords. Some employees even leave default factory settings on routers, switches, and firewalls. When we dealing with password strength, of course, complexity still counts. To increase complexity, we need to include upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. And the password should use at least 3 of these choices. Question. There are really complex passwords. They should be long and we should not write them down on a piece of paper. So how can we remember it? How can we memorize all the passwords? And the answer is to use password managers. Password management tools or password vaults is a great way to organize your passwords. Some companies give password vaults, for example, kept on Azure, or otherwise you can use free tools or paid tools. For example, before I used 1Password, it was a paid tool. And these tools help to manage your passwords securely. Many password managers also provide a way to back up your passwords and synchronize them across multiple systems. As a rule of thumb, never reveal your passwords to others. And of course, use different passwords for different accounts. This way, if one account is compromised, at least other accounts won't be at risk. Also, use multi-factor and authentication. Question 2. What is multi-factor authentication and why using multi-factor authentication is better than using only passwords as a security measure? Even the best passwords have limits, and multi-factor authentication adds another layer of protection to addition your username and the password. So we have something what we know, username and the password, and something what we have. What we can have, it could be a software token or it could be a hard token or mobile phone application that you use to confirm that is really who you are, who is trying to log in to the system. Question 3. What password managers can I use for free? There is a list of free password management tools such as LastPass, KeePass. I also use KeePass right now, Keeper, Password Safe, and Dashlane. Avoid recycling the same password across multiple accounts. Question 4. What are the rules that could be potentially enforced by system administrators? System administrators can enforce some things such as password length and rotation. Let's say after 90 days, users need to rotate their passwords. And also, there could be implemented a system to test the strength of the user's passwords with an online strength testing tool. So we need to use not only complex but also long passwords. Length trumps complexity. And make passwords that are hard to guess but easy to remember. Question 5. How can we make our passwords easier to remember? The answer is simple. Use sentences or phrases. But use sentences and phrases that are not easy to guess. Question 6. What should you do to avoid what should you avoid in your passwords? In your passwords, you should avoid single words and the word preceded or followed by a single number. Hackers can use dictionaries and words and commonly used passwords to guess your password. And don't use information that others might know about you, for example, from social media. Don't use your birthdays or your children's birthdays, children's and pets' names, car models, etc. The longer your password is, the better. Use at least 12 or preferably 16 characters whenever possible. The second issue I would like to talk about is outdated software. Software has a relatively short life cycle and it is sustained by ongoing updates and upgrades. When software is no longer receiving updates to sustain it, it becomes outdated. And this outdated software is unmaintained. It cannot be integrated with new applications. It cannot run smoothly on devices. Outdated software doesn't have patches if vulnerabilities are found, and it can fall prey to far more advanced cyber attacks. Question 7. What is an outdated operating system? An outdated operating system is an operating system software that is no longer receiving official support and updates from its manufacturer or from its developer. This means that the system is not being actively maintained and security vulnerabilities and other issues may not be fixed. Question 8. And so, what can happen if you don't update your operating system. Using outdated operating systems can result in a wide range of risks. This range of risks can include security vulnerabilities, compatibility issues, slow system performance, and in some cases, it can lead to legal consequences. Question 9. So, what can happen if network engineers don't update and patch servers, routers, switches, and firewalls? If they don't do it, and also if users don't update and upgrade their operating systems and applications, then an attacker can exploit these outdated software vulnerabilities. For attacks such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, man-in-the-browser attack, man-in-the-middle attack, hackers can access your device remotely. Hackers can use the device for a botnet. They can install spyware and keyloggers on your system. They can intercept the databases, encrypt important data for a ransomware attack. Hackers might steal confidential data and intercept credentials. They can make financial transactions on your behalf and insert malicious code into your website. Question 10. So, my profession is Network Security Associate, and I'm configuring firewalls. People often ask me, so you configure firewalls. What are the examples of firewall vulnerabilities, firewall threats? There is a range of vulnerabilities on firewalls such as Fortinet or Palo Alto, Cisco firewalls. It is activation of controls. The risk is lack of documentation. There, of course, as everywhere, there are insider threats and basic inspection protocols. And on top of all of this, there are always still these two important threats we discussed above. First is password strength on firewalls, and second is outdated firewall software, because vendors such as Cisco, Palo Alto, or Fortinet commonly issue software and firmware updates to patch newly discovered firewall vulnerabilities. And internet security teams likely to be very busy, and it's easy to fail behind when it comes to keeping firewalls also up to date. And poor patching habits can lead to exposing your organization to firewall threats. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Thank you.